What is going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from Marvel, DC, and even IDW as well. This time we are going to jump over to DC Comics and continue our coverage over Batman the Animated Series. The adventure continues. This series was made as a way to bring in Red Hood into this universe, because in the old 90s TV show, we got Dick Grayson Robin and then Tim Drake Robin. We never got a Jason Todd Robin until this series, but this series was also used as a way to bring in a bunch of characters we did not see in the animated series back when it was on TV. We are going to see Azrael, someone you guys know from the Nightfall storyline in the main DC universe. And so if you like today's comic book video, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe to the channel as well. But guys, I do hope you enjoy today's video. Now, the way this story starts off, we see Batman chasing after Catwoman, which is something we have seen countless times in DC Comics, where usually Batman tells us how much he actually cares for her. Even though she is a criminal, there is some kind of connection between the two of them. Just the usual Batman and Catwoman thing to happen in a comic. Except we see Catwoman get roped up by Azrael, and this is his first time he makes his appearance in this universe, where honestly we see him being kind of the same jerk as he is in the main DC universe, but we see that this time he is here for Catwoman instead of Batman, which is kind of weird, and you have Batman thinking the same thing as well, and Batman does jump in and try to take down Azrael before he is able to get away with Catwoman. Azrael was prepared for this battle, as you can tell, because he is able to barely escape from Batman to take Catwoman somewhere else, because apparently he has some questions for her. This is where we learn that Catwoman apparently stole something from Azrael in the church he belongs to. She stole a shawl, and of course he wants it back. Now this does lead into a pretty cool fight scene, because you do have Batman reappear again and do battle with Azrael, and they are almost equal to each other when it comes to fighting. But while they're fighting against each other, you have Jason Todd watching over the fight, because in this whole series, Jason Todd has been secretly watching Batman. Except while the fight is going on, you also have Azrael give us a small hint that he knows Batman more on a personal level, because he says, "You were always a trickster," and then Azrael leaves to fight for another day. This is where we learn that Catwoman apparently stole the shawl of Magdalene, but apparently this shawl also has healing properties. Now the reason why she stole this shawl from the Church of Saint Dumas, because someone hired her to do it, and you have Batman tell her how serious this is, because the church will be coming after her non-stop to get the shawl back, and you have Batman ask her who hired her to steal it in the first place, so Batman can get to that person before Azrael does. But the story does jump forward to us seeing the GCPD taking Catwoman away to lock her up in Arkham, but to give her 24-hour security, just in case Azrael tries to come back. And this is where Batman gets a call from Alfred that Azrael is at Wayne Manor. And so you have Batman go back there, and we learn that yes, Batman and Azrael do know each other, except we learn that Batman got his training from the Church of Saint Dumas. They helped Batman learn all of his martial art moves, and he trained along with Azrael, except Batman only went there for the training, and that is it, while Azrael went there for the training and the religious part as well. The point is that Azrael is an agent for the Saint Dumas. He came to Gotham to receive the shawl, and you have Batman tell Azrael that Catwoman no longer has it, but she told Batman who does. This is where we learn that it was the Penguin who told Catwoman to steal the shawl. And so of course, you have Batman and Azrael go there to get it back. Now this is the Penguin, and he is not really a capable fighter, but you didn't have Penguin call out this creature named Wingman. We see this big winged creature, and he's getting ready to fight both Batman and Azrael. Except we see Batman and Azrael kind of split up to deal with this problem. Batman stayed behind to take care of this random wingman beast, while you have Azrael go after the Penguin to basically make sure that he does not get away. Now Batman is able to take care of this wingman monster in a matter of seconds. He was just used as a way of a cliffhanger, and that is it. Now when Batman goes to check up on Azrael, we see that Azrael shows that he is more brutal than Batman is. And so you have Azrael looking at the Penguin as someone who lived his purpose, and now he knows where to go to find the shawl. And you have Azrael throw the Penguin off the balcony to fall to his death, and Batman had to hurry and save the Penguin. Now while Batman was doing that, you have Azrael dip out to go look for the person the Penguin gave the shawl to. But again, while all of this was happening, you have Jason Todd watching the whole thing. Now we learned that the Penguin gave the shawl away since Azrael told us that the shawl was given to someone else. And the question is, who? We pick up with Azrael going to this random location where we see that Azrael went to the base of Mr. Freeze. And this makes sense because remember, the shawl has the ability to heal. And we learn in this universe, the wife of Mr. Freeze has died. If you guys remember, when it comes to the character of Mr. Freeze, he is always trying to find a way to cure his wife's rare disease. He froze her as a way to preserve her until he is able to find a cure to save her life. Except we learn that she died, and so now he's hoping the shawl can bring her back to life, and he was the mastermind behind stealing the shawl. This leads to Batman arriving at the scene of the crime, and he figured out that Mr. Freeze was the mastermind behind all of this. And so you have Batman arriving after Mr. Freeze has already frozen Azrael, which of course leads to Batman to fighting Mr. Freeze. It is something we have seen so many times, except this time it's a little bit different because Batman knows that Mr. Freeze is not a true bad guy. He did all of this to save his wife. But Batman does try to make Mr. Freeze realize that his wife is gone. But of course, Mr. Freeze is still having a hard time accepting it, and so you have Batman had no choice but to take Mr. Freeze down. This leads to Bruce Wayne and Azrael talking after everything has been dealt with now, and you have them giving the shawl back to the Church of St. Dumas, which then leads on to Azrael telling Batman if he ever needs him again, he'll be more than glad to come to help Batman, telling us that maybe down the road we could see Azrael taking over the Batman mantle like he did in the Nightfall comics in the main DC universe. To close the book off, we actually pick back up with Jason Todd again, except this time he is watching over the Joker, letting us know that he is going to be going after the Joker soon. But we also learn that the Joker knows that Jason Todd is watching him as well. And this is where we're going to end today's comic book video. And so guys, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe to my channel for more comics like this in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read? Well, please let me know in the comments below because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'm out of here and I will see you on the next comic book video. Later guys.